Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome back tonight on the Speaker Show. So, now for some of you who are just joining us for the first time, the Speaker Show is a place of inspiration, motivation, where minds are being liberated through reasoning. So, for everyone who has been joining us tonight, I just want to say a very big thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in with us. All right, so before I go further, let me introduce myself. My name is Niniola Fatai. So, I'm the host of the Speaker Show. So, like I said before, on the speaker show, we motivate, we inspire, we coach because we believe that each and every one, each and every individual has been created for something very special. And it is important that you achieve what you have been created for. So, that is why we have the show, we have this platform in order to help each and everyone out there. And then through other people's story, that you can find your own path. So, tonight, I am very, very excited because we've got a very special guest in our midst tonight. Can you imagine us having a whole doctor in our midst? So, with a lot of experience, with all the things like, with a story, which I believe very strongly that tonight someone is going to be impacted. Someone's life is going to change. So I want each and every one of you to come with an open mind. Let us all have a great time tonight. Let's have a wonderful time with her. And please, 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 tonight, let us bombard her with so much question because she's going to tell us everything that we need to know. All right. So I'm going to be bringing her in right now, and we are going to welcome Dr. Bulu in our midst this evening. Welcome, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great, Aniela. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So how is it going with you?
So far, so good. Can't complain. God has been very faithful, so I'm good.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that. So how is it going? So, okay, tonight, I know you've got a lot that you're going to share with us. You've got a lot to tell us tonight. And I am super excited. Okay. So, but please give us a little bit intro about yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Bolu Olaniru. I am originally from Nigeria, Yoruba tribe to be precise. Currently in Brantford, Ontario. I am a professor at Sternberg College and at Conestoga College. I am also the founder of Rooted in Care, my own personal organization that was created to support the wellness of caregivers, specifically those of autistic individuals. I am a researcher. I'm huge when it comes to gender-based violence, specifically within the areas of FGMC, female genital mutilation. I've done a lot of research in that, specifically back home, because it is an ongoing cultural practice that does affect millions of women around the world. And my research focused on finding the reasons as to why they continue to practice, because the only way to essentially stop it is to figure out why it's happening in the first place. That's where you can come with recommendations and suggestions of how to change the narrative or the perspective of the people practicing it. So that's pretty much my spiel. I'm also a mother of 3 amazing, wonderful children. I'm a wife to an amazing husband. I have 2 younger brothers, my parents. I enjoy gardening.
That's good. Thank you so much for sharing those beautiful things with us. Oh my goodness. Wow. You are so busy. You are super packed up. Oh my goodness. Wow. How do you manage all that?
Honestly, it's the grace of God. There's days
Wow.
when I look at it and I don't even know how I did it myself, but I just keep going, right? And some days are harder than others, right? We're human. We have times where we feel overwhelmed or we just feel like, oh, we need a break, right? And I make sure that when I do feel overwhelmed or I do need a break, that I take them, because I think a lot of times, oftentimes we don't take them, and that's when things accumulate, and then you have, breakdowns, and it can really impact yourself and those that you're caring for, those that need you. So yeah, when I need to take my breaks, I focus on my gardening because it brings me a lot of peace, and it's just something that really centers me. My kids often make fun of me and they say, "Oh, you're plant babies, you're a plant mom," because it's just one of my biggest interests currently right now, and I'm just really big on that.
Amazing. Wow, that's really good. I love planting too. because I think it's beautiful as a woman. When you do the gathering and all that, I think it's beautiful. Sincerely speaking, but
It is, and it's a
it's
thing of
quite consuming, though.
that's the thing. And when it comes to gardening, it's a thing of patience, which I realized. I started mine from seedlings, so literally from the seeds within the tomato and within the red pepper, and been watching it flourish and grow. And something about it is just, it just feels proud. Like, wow, I was able to do that. So
Wow, amazing. Wow, that's
yeah.
really, really good. Oh my. All right, so let's really get into you tonight
Yes.
because we really want to know more. We want to know more about your experience and all that. So tell us, how did you find it? Like, with all those things that you listed down, coming from Nigeria and actually
Mhm.
building something for yourself here, and not to talk of, being a professor, tell us a little bit about that.
So I was born in Nigeria, but I came to Canada at the age of like 2. So everyone's like, "Oh, you're Canadian, you're not Nigerian." But I'm still very in tuned with my culture. I still eat Nigerian food. I,
Mhm.
practice and some of the cultural practices. I big like what people don't know. I actually went back to Abuja to serve. So
Really?
yeah, in Cuba.
That's good.
So just to tell you how like in touch I am with my culture, like I actually went back home to serve, just to get that experience and really immerse myself within the culture. But yeah, it's one of those things where I think you need to be really intentional about what it is that you want to do. My
Yes, yes.
journey has been up and down. I went to school first at Sheridan College. At Sheridan College, that time I said, "Oh, I want to be a journalist." So I went into broadcast journalism.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, I finished the program. It was great. But then when I finished, I was like, the journalism lifestyle it wasn't
Didn't
something.
feel good.
The whole if it bleeds, it leads, and the being on call and just really having to be in really tough situations and just having to, still ask people questions and really, disheartening situations. I just couldn't really see myself in that role. So
Hmm.
after I finished from Sheridan, I went to go do my undergrad in British Columbia at Royal Roads University. And there I got a degree in professional communications and still within that line of journalism. I was looking more into maybe like the news, but maybe paper instead of broadcasting on television.
Hmm.
Again, that time too, I was just like, no, I feel like there's more I can do. There's something else I want to do. So I
Hmm.
went to Ryerson University, which is now known as Toronto Metropolitan University, and I got my
Hmm.
master's there in media productions. And again, that time I was like, okay, now I know what I want to do. I want to get into producing. I want to be behind the scenes, right? I want to be come up with the creative ideas to, shoot certain stories or shoot different, contents. And then I realized, this is not really my calling. I'm not really drawn to this like I thought I would be. And so, yeah, the journey has been up and down. I decided to go and do my PhD in social science at Royal Roads University in Victoria, BC. A 4-year course took me 10 because motherhood, marriage, a lot of things transpired within that time. And even within that time, what I wanted to focus on changed a lot. But whatever I did, I knew that I wanted to focus on research back home, right? And at first, I wanted to look in because I said I served. So I wanted to look in the kind of the technical and the policy side in terms of serving, because there were some things from my point of view which I felt could have been better in terms of my experience and the way things were organized. But then I realized, is that really going to make a change? Am I really going to get to the level of where, I'll be able to impact people, right? Because that's always been my thing. I wanted to go out and touch people in my own little way. And then I just was thinking about some of the experiences that I had while I was serving. And female genital mutilation was something that I witnessed some of the girls had. And I was very, I guess, naive. I didn't know what it was. I never heard about it. Right. And I remember some of the girls, having the conversation and me just like kind of peeping to be like, this is interesting. Like, what do you mean? Like cultural practice? It was very foreign to me. So
Hmm.
I decided to inquire more about it. And I noticed that in many of our families, especially back in the days, if you want to look a couple generations back, it's something that was very prevalent, right? And it comes with a lot of I guess, the major surroundings for why it's done is because they think they're protecting their women. They want their women to be chaste. They want them to remain pure and virgins because they believe that if they don't do this cultural practice, then, they could be promiscuous, right? And that can lead in their marriage, maybe not honoring their husbands or infidelity, unwanted pregnancies when they're teenagers. So that cultural side was trying to protect them in terms of removing something that they believed kind of, it creates these feelings and of arousement. And my research just showed that no, there's other ways to do it, because there are women who got married as virgins who are not circumcised, and vice versa. There are some women who are into sex work who are circumcised, right? So again, it's not the solution to what you are trying to do. Whoever decides to give themselves away, it's their own autonomy. No one actually has the right to go in and make that decision for you, especially at such a tender age. And right, the even like a lot of the stories and personal interviews I had with people who had undergone this when I was back home in Nigeria, unsanitary, unlicensed professionals, right? The equipment was not medically like sound, and even the aftercare and treatment, it was just like the experience, hearing it alone, horrible. I couldn't imagine being in that situation. And then not only that state, but what happens later on in terms of the psychological effect, right? Like, how does that affect your marriage? How does that affect your womanhood? Right?
Yeah.
You essentially remove the part of yourself that you will never be able to attain or experience because of a cultural, perception of womanhood. So that was that. So I went into that journey, and I've been doing, and I still do a lot of gender-based violence research, particularly in that area, because I find that when we do talk about gender-based violence, we focus on, rape, right, or domestic intimate violence, right? That female genital mutilation is kind of hidden. So I really wanted to bring it to the forefront because it does affect a lot of women. And I believe even Canada's a wonderful place, right? We accept so many cultures, so many backgrounds, ethnicities, and it's a beautiful melting pot. And within that, you have people that also bring those traditional cultural practices with them here. So it might not be as big as the countries they're coming from, but it still exists here, and it's still a problem. And it's not something that is totally eradicated. So until it is, I am going to continue to talk about it and fight for it. And from also doing that, I started lecturing at Conestoga College and at Sternburn College. And at Conestoga, I teach a lot of interdisciplinary courses. So you'll have like philosophy, you'll have ethics and world culture, so many different type of interdisciplinary courses. And at Sternburn College, it is a nursing school, and there I am teaching in the women's studies and the philosophy section in there as well. And not too long ago, I started my own gift. I know we're talking about gifts today. My own gift slash Rooted in Care. And Rooted in Care, essentially, it is what the name is. It is Rooted in Care. I am a mother of an autistic child, and I understand the heaviness that carries in terms of, thinking about their future, thinking about how they're perceived, just so many things to think about, and talk less of, the physical, emotional, mental, financial, right? You're taking them ABA practice, speech practice, or therapies and occupational therapies, all these different therapies. And I'm blessed to have a very supportive family, supportive friends, supportive support. And I still find it very overwhelming. So I can only imagine those who do not have that type of support, right? And again, we talk about autism, it's such a big thing now. And I feel like a lot of people still are not aware of what it is, especially underrepresented communities, especially if you talk about our Nigerian community. There's a lot of disbelief about what it is. It's spiritual. It's, there's so many things that, and because people are unaware of what it is. So because of that, there's kind of this naive ignorance attached to what autism is. And, it's a spectrum. There's some people that are high functioning, you may not know, and there's others that are low functioning, and it's quite obvious. And then there's some that are in the middle, which you might be like, this is a bit socially awkward. There's something, but they're not giving signs of maybe somebody who's low functioning. And again, our our culture is very heavy in terms of spirituality. So a lot of times you will find that, you know, don't accept it, because if you accept it, then you've given power to it. But then
Mhm.
there's the other side where, well, the only way you can, you know, kind of find or help the individual that's on the spectrum is to acknowledge that it's there, so that
Yes.
you get the resources and you can be available and you understand the different sensories that, you know, surround them, in terms of, you know, there's eating sensories, there's touch sensories, there's so many different things, right? And understanding that, you know, they're not disabled, they just have a different ability. That's exactly what it is, right? And so my work has been really to, you know, help the caregivers, because a lot of times when it comes to autistic individuals, all the attention is on the autistic individual, right? Whether you're doing it professionally or it's personal within your life, all
Mhm.
the attention is there. Meanwhile, the person that is nurturing also needs to be nurtured. It's like pouring your water and
Yes.
getting it filled, right? And I understand in our community, because of the, you know, just not only our communities, but a lot of communities that are unaware of it, the stigma attached.
Mhm.
Oftentimes it's on the women, right? Some people have lost their marriages, have lost family members, so many things, right? Because of something that you don't have control over, right? Nobody knows where it stems from. People only have ideas and maybe, you know, kind of conspiracy theories, but nobody really knows where it's coming from, right? So it's an organization that is good, giving support to those that are supporting others, specifically within this realm, because firsthand, my lived experience, I understand. So that's why it is rooted in care. I care because it's something that also affects me. So it's not just, oh, autism is a big thing. How do we cash out? How do we, you know, get into this phenomenon? It's my everyday experience, right? So, and again, I do have a very strong support system, and I understand there's a lot that people that are not as lucky as me. So this is, you know, created for them to help support. Let us be able to talk. A lot of times we're ashamed, right? So we
Mhm.
don't want to talk about it, but when you build that safe space, that community where, yes, it's okay when you're having bad days. I get it. Your son did this, your daughter did this. I get it, right? There's
Mhm.
no shame, right? You feel safe. You're able to pour your heart out. You're able to share ideas, share resources. A lot of people don't even know what's available, right?
Mhm.
Because they're too scared to talk to people because people may not understand. So this organization, Rooted in Care, was essentially that, to bring caregivers together, to give them support that is needed, and to nurture them and help them with their mental health and wellness. Because we are only as strong and as kind of useful as we can be when we're at our optimum best, right? If
Mhm.
I'm not 100% there, I can't give 100% to somebody else. So
Mhm.
essentially that has, yes, been the whole spiel of the gift.
Wow. 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 First of all, I'm gonna tell you this. Like, thank you for the braveness. Thank you for the courage, to step out and talk about this. And like you said, and like like this is something that a lot of people would rather keep within themselves. A lot of people will not want to talk about because they're too concerned about judgment from others, you know, what others are going to say, what others are going to think about them. So that kind of put those limitations
Yeah.
and take people away from actually expressing themselves. So one more time, I want to say thank you again for the coverage, and also with the fact that you see the need in the community, you see the hunger and the taste, for people to be aware of this, because the reality is that it is happening, it is out there. There are
Yeah.
a lot of children, there are a lot of marriages, there are a lot of families in there. And at the end of the day, they keep it in, they suck it in just because they just want to manage it, and
Yeah.
it drives them crazy. It drives
Yeah.
them crazy every single time.
Yeah.
And the fact that you are able to just share it, I can see the beauty in you, because
Yeah.
no, it's true, because it gives you peace of mind. The fact
Yeah.
that you're not ashamed of it. You're proud of yourself, because at the end of the day, you didn't create the situation. The situation happened, and it could happen to anyone under no circumstances. It doesn't matter your ethnicity, it doesn't matter where you're coming from. It can happen, and it happens to so many families.
Yep.
So Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we're gonna move on. And we're still gonna be coming back to that, okay? So we're gonna move on. So, when you discover this, that you want to talk about it, you want to share this information to the people. What was the first thing that you recognized that was a gift in you? How you could turn that into a gift or a talent and make it, be an impact to others. And especially like, your research, your passion
Mhm.
towards like, you going to Nigeria to make a better place. So what was the drive behind all that?
Funny enough, when I was young, like really young, and my mom, she's a nurse practitioner. She's also a doctor, a PhD doctor, but I wanted to be a nurse. That was before journalism, before anything. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be a nurse because it may sound cliche, but I actually enjoy helping people. Like it's the satisfaction or fulfillment or joy you feel when you're able to help someone, right? Which is why probably I hold the door all the time for people for no reason. They're just want any way I can help, right? So
Mhm,
I always had that passion for giving back, for helping, right? Because I
mhm.
feel in this world that it's what moves us forward, right? Helping each other. Nobody ever got to somewhere by themselves. They had a team, they had a support, they had some, you know, whatever it was to help them. So I've always wanted to give that support. And again, I feel like I love to bring attention to areas where are not explored or often minimized or put to the side or silenced. So it was like, no, how can we shine light on this? I remember during my research for female genital mutilation in Nigeria, I actually did an animated documentary, mini documentary, which I actually submitted to several different film festivals, and it was picked up and screened at a few film festivals. Included Women Deliver, which is the biggest women conference in the world. It was, I believe, last year that it was screened at their festival and many other festivals as well. And it was just to shine light on this issue, right?
Mhm,
Again, gender-based violence. Barely anyone talks about female genital mutilation, right? It's not. So again, it was bringing light, bringing attention. And a lot of times when I do that, you find people be like, "Oh my God, that's happening! Oh my God, that's terrible!" Right? Because they're unaware, right? So again, it's just bringing things that I feel, oftentimes are, silenced or dismissed to the forefront,
mhm,
right? It is an issue. How do we help? Well, we can only help if we know there's a problem. Well, here I am. There is a problem. Let's
mhm.
discuss. Let's talk about it. And it's
Yeah.
through those conversations where there is advocacy, where there's change in policy, where there's awareness that's brought to it, right? It's not all the time that people are strong enough that are going through these situations to use their own voices, right? I always
Mhm,
think about that. Like if I was ever in a situation where I was scared to talk or I was unable to talk because of stigma or shame or whatever the situation is, I would love for somebody to come and speak out for me, right? So
mhm,
that's how I see it, right? For even though I myself have not been a victim or survivor of female genital mutilation or cutting, but it does affect like 250 million people around the world. And mind you, those are cases that are recorded. How many cases are not reported? So that number, which is huge, is just statistics from what is recorded. So it's more
mhm,
than that, right? And how many people are talking about it?
mhm,
Right. So again, using my voice as like, hey, this is a problem. Let's talk about it. Right.
mhm,
And same thing with autism, especially when it comes to, I don't want to just use the Nigerian community because I know like a lot of other communities too. There's like the shame, the stigma of talking about it.
mhm,
Right. And no, there's no shame or stigma. Like you're unaware because you're uneducated, you're misinformed. So let's have these conversations. Let's help each other. This
mhm.
journey is not a journey you can do alone. It's really not.
Yes.
You
Yes.
need support, right? And where's the support coming from? And it's not just, okay, here's money and take the child to do these therapies. What about your own mental health and wellness, right?
Mm,
Who's checking up on you and saying, Mama or Papa, you got this. You're doing a good job. Your son or your daughter had a bad day. It's fine. It happens. You're doing well, right? I've been to grocery stores when I've seen parents or siblings who have autistic individuals, and spectrum is very large. So maybe they're reacting in a way that people might be like, "Oh my God, what's that?" Or right, and they get the looks and they get the stares. They feel
mhm,
ashamed. They feel angry. They right, and it's just
mhm.
to walk up to them and be like, "It's okay, mom. Like don't worry about that. Because I understand.
Yeah.
I understand." and you're doing the best you can, sheltering them from the world, it doesn't help them. Because a lot of times our prayer is that they outlive us. You're not
Hmm.
going to be there forever.
Yeah.
There's going to be a point in their life where you can no longer, because of just, getting older, physically and even mentally, and do some of those things. So they need to be exposed. It may not be comfortable, right? But there's no point hiding a child or an individual. Bring them out, educate people. Yeah, you're looking, is on the spectrum. Do you know what autism is? Give them that education. A lot of people don't know,
Yes.
right? So it's again a way of spreading awareness, and it
Hmm.
affects a lot of people, right? Whether it's personal or indirect. Some people work with people who are on the spectrum. Some people have siblings or friends or partners, or right. So again, it's spreading that awareness. It's not a demonic possession, right? A lot of faith based, you know, uh, I guess people like to say, right? Because again, it didn't. It kind of, you feel bad. Like, who wants to hear that their child or the individual that they're with is, you feel like, did I do something wrong? Why is my story different from A, B, C, D, right? And God help me, I'll get to the point where I'm able to go back home in Nigeria, right? Because autism is affecting the whole world right now. But at least here in the Western world, there's support, there's systems, there's, a bit more education in place. But back home, I can only imagine, first of all, the resources, if you're able to have them, it's expensive,
Hmm.
right? And to even find them in the first place, and then to even talk about it, is, a lot of, our communities, God forbid, God forbid, right? But they
Hmm.
say early intervention is the best. And you can
Hmm.
only, you know, really get involved if you acknowledge there's a problem to begin with, or an issue, right? So again, it's to remove that shame, especially for, parents of autistic individuals, because they do feel it, right? And people whisper, you see the looks, you see the stares, and
Hmm.
unfortunately now we live in a very terrible world where people are bringing out their phones, right? There's no privacy once you go out.
Yes.
And the toll that takes too on, the parents or the caregivers, right? The thinking of the future, the worry, the why is my situation, or how will they fare, or their mates are going to school or going to university, or how will their lives be different,
Hmm.
right? And just to give them that support to say, don't worry, like it's going to be okay,
Yeah.
right? It's for you to be frustrated. It's normal. It's human,
Yeah.
right? You don't have to feel ashamed that, oh, I shouldn't be mad. Yeah, you can be mad. You can be angry. You're human. The
Hmm.
individual too is also angry, right? They just have a different way of expressing it, because depending where they are on the spectrum, they may not be able to communicate it as well as someone who is not on the spectrum.
Wow. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay. So my next question for you is this: that how has your gift, in all this that you do, has
Mhm.
it actually shaped your identity or as an individual, and shape your mindset towards the world or towards life itself?
I think everything just all encompass has made me more empathetic in terms of how I view the world, how I view people, how I view situations, and I'm very intentional about like advocacy, right? I feel we're in a world right now where we get fast news. A lot of times it's headlines, we run with it, we don't dig deep, we don't do research, we just, run with certain narratives. And my
Mm-hmm.
all the things I've been doing has allowed me to kind of just sit back and think deeply about it, right? And think twice about it, critically analyze situations before just running with what everybody else is saying, right? And just being empathetic. Like I get it, right? This human race we're running, it's not an easy one. For people that are neurotypical, it's not easy to talk less if you're on the spectrum, right? It's definitely another hurdle. You're another challenge. And I feel I'm just happy that we're currently in a time where we're speaking about mental health. Mental health 10 years ago wasn't something that is at the forefront as it is right now, because we're realizing how it does impact us on a day to day, within our relationships, within our work, within our schooling, within our daily living. And I think it's a great thing now that it's something that we're talking about, it's something that we're, um, kind of exploring, right? And I think that is what has really shaped me, right? 20 years ago, if somebody was having a crisis, it's all like, oh my gosh, you would judge them, right? Because you didn't
Mm-hmm.
really know much about it. But my
Yes.
experience, my research, And everything I've been doing has allowed me to sit back and be like, no, this person is suffering or a traumatic or is responding to a traumatic response, right? Was triggered by something, or maybe on the spectrum, or maybe showing symptoms of maybe schizophrenia or bipolar. Like, how do we deal with that? How do we get involved in terms of giving them the right resources, or if you need to call somebody, letting them know that, okay, I'm not a licensed mental health or psychologist, and but this person looks like they're experiencing some type of traumas, right? Can we get a wellness check? Can someone come and help the situation, right? Back in the day, it would have been a simple, well, I don't know what's going on. And, we've heard situations where cops, unfortunately, have used force, right? Unnecessary force for
Mhm.
someone that, may have been suffering from a mental health crisis. So I do feel like my gifts have made me more aware of my surroundings, aware of people, individuals, certain symptoms. I do have a diploma in mental health awareness and wellness. So, it's just really helped me in the way I see things, right? Instead of being very narrow minded, I'm very open now to a lot of things and very intentional. Wherever, when I go and, again, someone is having a crisis or having an outburst and people are judging or people are looking, instead of getting your phone out and recording or whispering or the stares, it's kind of like, do you need help? Are you okay?
Mhm.
Do you have someone here with you? What's your name? Right? You get involved. That's where that empathy comes in, right? Like, get involved, like recording the person snickering, backbite. Like, how does that help the individual? Right? And a lot of times the individual just needs someone to care and say, hey, yeah, do you need help? How can I help you? Right? So I think my gift has really opened my mind, opened my eyes, and just allows me to see things from different perspectives, which I think is helpful at the end of the day, especially in situations that really need it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really, really like that, and I appreciate that a lot because the more you grow in life, see, that's why they always say that growth is very important. You don't
Yes.
stay at one particular place. Growth is very important, and the more you grow in life, the more your perspective change, the more your
Exactly.
mindset change, the more
Exactly.
understanding you have
Yeah.
about life itself, about situation itself.
Yeah.
So, and I'm so glad that, like,
Mhm.
your perspective, like, it changed from, like, 20 years ago to, like, what
It
one
has
can think of and be like,
It has to.
that's
It has
that's
to.
true.
Yeah, life is a not it's a never-ending university. People think, "Oh, you got a PhD, like, there's no more learning." Oh, there's always so much learning.
Absolutely,
Not like
absolutely.
no one has the same experience. Everyone has different experiences that come from their environment, their faith-based, how they were brought up. Like, different things shape the way people think. So we can even
Yes.
see right now in medicine, technology, things are advancing every day. You can imagine if
Mhm.
we just stopped at one particular place, we wouldn't be where we are right now, right? So there's no such thing as I know everything, or there's no more learning to do. There's always more learning to do. You can never know everything. In fact, in my philosophy class, it's like it is a fool who believes he knows everything, because it can't know everything. It's not possible, right? Even if you're an expert in your particular field, there's still advancements being made within that field that you got to keep up with. The way they're doing surgery right now is different from how they're doing it 30 years ago, and different from 30 years
Yes.
from that. And in the next 30 years, it would be more advanced as well. So again, you have to learn how to use these tools. You have to learn how to use these sciences and technologies, right? So it's never ending. So the same thing I see with personal growth, right? The
Yes.
person I am now is different from who I was 5 years ago, and will be different
Mhm.
from who I am 5 years from now. And it's a
Yes.
continuous growth, right? So for
Yes.
sure.
Yes. Wow, that's amazing. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna tell each and everyone who is online with us, please, please,
Yep.
please, if you do have any questions regarding what she's saying, see, she's talking about very, very important topic. So if you do have any questions or any concern, or maybe probably something jumped at you at any time, please drop your comment, drop your questions, and she's gonna be taking them in the next 5 minutes now. So please drop them and let us hear the best from her. All right. So my next question for you, before we're gonna go into the crowd, the audience to take questions, is during this journey for you. have you ever felt or experienced, which I know you must have, but if you can share with us, like, some challenges that you went
Oh,
through, in order
yeah.
for you to still stand still and be like, that is still what I want to do, that's what I'm going for, and that's what I will do.
Yeah, no, for sure. Life is not without its challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and every kind of, next step or next, evolvement of your life will come with its fair amount of challenges. And it hasn't been an easy one. Like I said, my PhD that was supposed to be 4 years took me 10, right? Because I was dealing with different challenges in different walks of life. And even within my research, right? You're facing challenges, right? And guess even getting participants, getting elders and people to talk to you and invite you into their communities to have conversations that are, very uncomfortable. You're talking about female genital mutilation, and you're not coming in there to say, hey, it's great, let's continue it. You're coming in there to be like, listen, it's not the greatest practice, but let me understand from your perspective is why you continue to do it. And even within that learning that we were talking about, a lot of people were like, well, I don't know, my mom did it, my grandma did it, like we just thought it was like a rite of passage, right? So a lot of them never even questioned. So even me coming in there to do some teaching or to do some findings and research kind of opened up their mind to say, oh, well, it makes sense now that you're talking about it. I did have, fistula, or I did have this, or, my pregnancies were terrible. I didn't know it was because of this or that, right? So it's something where they're thinking, I don't want to continue this then. Right? So again, it does come with its challenges. Even rooted in care has come with its challenges. Again, you're dealing with, I speak specifically for our Nigerian community. It's a very religious, spiritual community, right? And something like autism is something that is heavily, we, it's almost talked about as if it's, it's a demonic spirit, and it's meant to come and destroy families and frustrate marriages and all these different things, and it's not of God, right? So again, even coming up with rooted in care to give support to people, it's like, oh well, why are you giving them this kind of support? Push them to God. God is our healer. God is the one that can change everything. And so again, even getting some pushback like that, and my whole thing is two things can be true. The same God that we serve within this community is the same God that provided medical expertise to have the knowledge and wisdom to come to give certain medications, certain treatments, right? We can ban and reject cancer for all you like, but at the end of the day, you need to see if you have the can take chemotherapy, if you can go take whatever treatments you need to get better. And the prayer is that let these treatments work for my body. Let my body not reject the treatments, because it's not everyone that it works for. There's some people where it rejects it, and unfortunately, right, they're no longer here. So again, it's like, I think our culture, it comes from a very, it's almost like a magician, a genie, right? If you have to get any type of human intervention involved, it kind of diminishes the power of God. And it's like, no, two things can be the same. God is the one that gave us that person, that mindset to create certain medications, to create certain remedies, and to perfect it to the point where it could heal a group of people, right? So the same thing with autism, right? Oh, it's a this, it's a spiritual this, it's a spiritual that. To each their own. Everyone can have their own perspective. But what I'm trying to do is create a safe, non-judgmental space where people feel free to come and have conversations, right? Because again, that backlash, when you talk about challenges and you talk about, you want to confide in a spiritual leader and say, hey, I'm going through this because my child has autism. And the first thing they're doing is, not only are they rejecting it, but they're giving you all these spiritual things, and you have to do this. And you feel like, okay, if I do these things and I don't see the results I'm supposed to see, then truly there's something wrong with me, right? And then again, you become desperate, you become vulnerable, and that can lead into other terrible situations. But again, we're all God's creations, right? He loves each and every single one of us, regardless if you're on the spectrum or you're not on the spectrum. So I do believe that even within Rooted in Care, yes, we do have some pushback from, some, I don't want to say all, but some spiritual leaders, but it doesn't stop me from continuing. Same thing with FGM, right? There's some cultural leaders that, push back on it. Oh, especially when they see how women are very sexual liberated these days, right? Oh no, we don't
Tell
want
me
that.
about it.
Exactly. So let's keep them with our practice that makes sure that they don't do any of the sexual liberated activities, or else we get the pushback. So within everything, there's always going to be pushback and challenges. The thing is not to give up. It's just continue. You know your purpose. You know why you're doing it. You know the population that you're trying to change, or the policy you're trying to change, or the perspective that you're trying to change. Keep doing it. It's not going to be easy. Nothing in this world is ever easy, right? But you knock down, get back up again, and that's it. That's what I'll say. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, you gladden my heart so much.
Oh.
It made me really excited. And honestly, for a second, I think in my mind, I'm like, I'm so blessed that we have this show,
Yeah.
that opportunity
Yeah.
that, people can learn more. I think it's amazing.
Definitely.
And I'm so glad. And you made me proud. I'll be honest with you.
And look at you, you're using your gift as an opportunity to spread information, to spread awareness, advocacy. It's amazing, right? So many people will tap into this, watch it, and have ideas, or do more research, or feel like, okay, you know what? I'm not alone in this journey, right?
Yes.
So your gift too is having this platform. It's amazing. Congratulations to you for using your voice.
Thank
Not
you.
everyone, has that, confidence, right? A lot of people like to trend with maybe what's going on in social media, right? Safe things. So you're stepping out of that boundary, and you're like, no, I want to tackle things that affect everyday people, right? A lot of us use, like, media a lot of times, clip bites, and all these kind of these sensational things that are happening in social media to get away from our realities. And I like how you bring that perspective. Like, we're all going through it. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. Let's learn from one another. So you're part of that, involvement. You're part of that, research, and your gift too is highly well commended as well.
Thank you. I'll be glad.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna be going into the audience right now. So there's so much
Alrighty.
question for you.
Oh
Okay.
wow. Okay.
So, but we'll try not to take everything because of
Okay.
our time. So, but we'll take as much as we can.
Okay.
So let's get started. Are you
Awesome.
ready?
I am.
All right. So someone said here that at what point can we consider our mental health is at risk?
So I'm just going to put a disclaimer out here. I am not a licensed mental health uh, professional in terms. I'm not a psychologist, but from the research and from what I know, you have to kind of, when you notice that you're off, right? Yeah, everyone knows how they are normally, right? So when you start to observe abnormal behaviors, I think that's when you need to start clicking into, what's triggering these emotions, or these thoughts, or these feelings, or right? And sometimes it can be seasonal. Right now, if you're in Canada, we're in winter season. So by 5 o'clock, it's pitch black outside, right? And seasonal depression is a real thing, right? It's cold, it's dark, people don't go out as much, everywhere's, you just kind of feel kind of low, right? And it happens, and that's okay. But you have to think, what can I do to cheer myself up? Because the issue is when you continue within that within that kind of mental headspace, right? So when it
Mhm.
comes to mental health, it's all about like searching yourself. Okay, what's going on? And a lot of times, if you can't figure it out, it's good to reach out to a mental health specialist, right? Don't self-diagnose, because that's the worst thing you can ever do, because you're not a professional, right? So that's why you need to reach out to professionals. But when you start feeling you're off, and it can happen as women, hormonal, maybe your menstrual cycle is coming, you maybe get more angry, or your face, you just, we go through different emotions. So how you are normally. It's when it becomes abnormal, then you need to seek for some professional help.
Wow. Thank
So
you.
just keep tabs on yourself, essentially.
That's good. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So the next question that we have here is spectrum disorder hereditary?
So, to be quite honest, not really. So there is some that, for sometimes bipolar, schizophrenia, it could be something that's hereditary. But when it comes to autism, I think it can be very sporadic. Okay. And again, because it is a spectrum, there's a lot of people who are on the autism spectrum and they're high functioning. When I say you could never tell, right? And then there's some people that are low functioning and it's so obvious, right? So again, it could be hereditary and you wouldn't know because maybe the person who had it was high functioning, right? Versus it being very obvious when it's somebody that's low functioning, right? And it could be very sporadic, right? I remember in my own example, I did blood work to find out, is it something within the gene? And it came out negative, right? So it may be and it may not be. But again, it is hard to tell because I believe right now we are in autism is very popular. A few generations ago, it wasn't, right? We just labeled people, especially if they were low function, oh, they're crazy or they're mad or they're insane or right different labels that we associated with them because we didn't understand, right? Versus now where we're like, okay, they're exhibiting symptoms of someone who is on the spectrum, right? So it's kind of hard. You would hear stories, oh, you had, and again, a very spiritual community, oh, he got a job and before you know, he went insane or he went, right? We hear all those stories and this village people, it's, this person, it's this person. And a lot of times it can be triggered, right? You can be triggered by certain scents, smells, activity, traumas, different things like that, right? That can just cause someone to kind of that fine line between sane and insanity, right? So again, when it comes to autism, it could be and it could not be, right? It's very sporadic. If everyone knows right now in the news, some people are attributing it to, Tylenol for pregnant women, right? And a few years before that, they were attributing it to the immunization shots, right? Or some people will say it's what's in our food, the GMOs. There's so much different debates and conversations and conspiracies about autism. And the truth is, we don't know, right? It's still one of those things that we're still finding and trying to do research on. So yeah, don't think about, oh, is it in my family line or is it in my partner's family line? It may not be, right? It could be very sporadic.
Wow. Thank you for that. Okay, so we're going to be taking another question right now. So what is the greatest concern about your world that has such criticisms as a mother?
The greatest concern about my world that's like a criticism as a mother. I don't. I feel this world we live in, especially if you spend a lot of time on social media. There's kind of like, oh, this like book of gentle parenting and how things should be done and how your child should respond to certain situations, how they should present, how they should talk, and it's just like, oh my God, no! Like not all children are the same. Even twins, right? That came out of the same womb still have different personalities, different DNAs, and I feel like a lot of times we judge ourselves or put our parenting skills based on what is being shown to us and not realizing that everything online they're selling us, whether it's a product, a service, or lifestyle, right? So when you see certain people and how they take care of their children and how they are as a mother, and you're like, oh my God, they're trying to sell you that lifestyle of, oh, I wake up in the morning, I do this, and the reality is, it's
It's
for a lot of people, it's exaggerated, right? And a lot of times when you hear the other half of it, you're like, oh my God, they're worse than me, or right? Or so again, I think the major thing is not to put that pressure on yourself. Do the best you can. Do the best you can and give the best you can, right? Our parents did the best they can with what they had at the time. And we're all here because of that, right? And we appreciate their efforts and just pour the same that you can with the knowledge that you have to your to your children, right? Don't put on that pressure. Oh, it has to be like this. Oh, my children don't know this. Take it easy on yourself, right? It's not a race, and there's not a this like at the end of the day this award for like the best mother in terms of achievements. You have to have A, B, C, D. No, so don't put that pressure on yourself. So I think that I had to learn that because again, you compare yourself. Oh, this kid is doing that. How come my kid is not? You start to say, is it me or what's going on? So again, just to keep that no, you're doing a good job. Not every kid is gonna turn out the same.
yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more on that because the reality is that everything that's out there that looks glittering, it's not true. You will see a lot of parents that they're struggling with their children, with their kids inside. But when they get outside, or maybe when they get on social media, oh my goodness, you would think as if they have the perfect lifestyle. It's a lie.
No such thing
It's
as
not
perfect.
true. And you
Yeah,
said a very important point that at the end of the day, just do it based on your best ability, your
that's
best
it.
capacity. Just
That's
do it.
it.
Just give all. Whatever you know, whatever you understand, just do your best.
Yeah.
Don't look at others. Don't look at hey, because even the kids itself, when you compare A to B, when you compare another child to your own child, you're diminishing the best in them. You're bringing them down. You're telling them they're not even capable. You're
Yeah.
telling them they're not even worthy. So
Yeah.
you imagine the damage you're doing to the children, not just
Yeah.
even to yourself alone, but to
Exactly.
the children. So that's why, it is very, very important to the person who asked the question, it is very, very important that you live your life based on yourself, based on your
Yes.
knowledge, and then
Yes.
acquire more knowledge. There are better ways that you can learn from people that they've grown, they've done it, and they succeeded at it.
Yeah.
You can learn from your parents, you can learn, you can ask for
Yeah.
advice and those things.
Mhm.
And they can help you, and we all can make the world a better
Ex-
place.
Exactly. You can unlearn and relearn. That's another way of
Absolutely.
learning. And never
Absolutely.
compare yourself to others because that's the thief of joy, right? When you're comparing, oh, my relationship doesn't look like what they're showing, or how come my partner didn't splurge on me or do this? And that person is putting, selling you a lifestyle to click, to be engaged. Oh my God, what are they going to do next? Right. And before you know, we've all heard stories where, oh no, he didn't buy me anything. I bought it for myself, and I said he did, or they're being beaten, and these were gifts, for. So again, don't compare yourself to others. Everyone's shoe is different. Everybody's size is different. Just walk in your path, do the best you can, and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
goodness.
it.
Oh my goodness. It's been a very, very wonderful time with you. And then, I want to continue more. I want us to learn more, but we just have to end this. Please let me ask you
Yeah.
officially with my audience right here. When are we going to have you back? So,
Anytime. I enjoy this. Again, this wasn't your traditional, very, cut and dry interview question. We made it more of a conversation. And that's what I think the world needs, a lot of authentic conversations where we can be ourselves, we can express ourselves, and we're able to connect, ask questions, learn from one another. Again, I feel like this journey we're taking, it's not a journey alone, right? We have the support, we need the community. So I really appreciate you for this channel because I think this channel is really needed, especially in these current times where a lot of people are going through a lot, right? And they just need, to feel and sense that they're heard, that they're seen, that they're appreciated, that they're not alone, right?
absolutely.
Because it's a really trying time currently. So
Yes, yes. Wow. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for
thank
your
you.
time. Honestly, I
Thank
can't thank you enough.
you.
Thank you for your time. I know you're busy, but the fact that you took the time to be here with us, I want to say thank you so much to you.
Thank
I
you so much
appreciate
to you
you a
too.
lot. So thank you. And then,
Thank
before you leave, I just want you to quickly give my audience one word of inspiration. Just one word of inspiration.
All right. You know what? You're doing great. Forget about what you're seeing, forget about what you've heard. I'm telling you, you are doing great. You're doing amazing. You're loved. When you wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, I love me. And for anything, right? We don't have to wait to be millionaires or whatever it is. Just love on yourself. No one is going to love you more than you. Love on yourself and just know that you are doing great and keep going. Don't be scared to ask for help. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. Everyone is asking for help right now. Even our doctors that we go to see, they have their own doctors that see them and tell them what to do. So just keep that in mind as well. But you're doing great and you got this.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, all right, everyone. Oh my goodness, we had a very wonderful show, and I am super excited. Honestly, all of you give your hands up, like, if you really want us to bring her back, because I think we have to bring her back. There's so much information that we need to let out. Honestly, please, like I've always said on the speaker show, share the video. Like the video. You never know who is going through something in their life, and you can be a lifesaver to someone. You can be a savior to someone. So please share the video, like the video, Let's empower one another. Let's uplift one another. Let's support one another, because you just don't know. Reach out to people that you love, that you care about. Reach out to them. See how they're doing. Because if you don't ask about them, no one else will ask about them. So please, let's spread this out of love. Love. Let's share it. Let's support one another. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining us on the speaker show this evening. You guys are amazing. You guys are wonderful for your consistency. You guys are beautiful. Thank you so much. Please, 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 please share this video. Like it one more time. Like it and click on the notification button so you can get more clips from us each and every time that we upload or we go live. Don't forget to join us. Invite your friends when you're coming every Friday at 7 p.m. We are live on the Speaker Show. So please join us, tune in, and let us have a great time each and every time. So I just want to say to each and every one of us, keep doing what you're doing, keep believing. Don't give up. The best is yet to come. You're closer than you think. You're just a little bit inches is the difference. So please don't give up. Just keep striving. Keep going on. Okay. And I know and I believe that you are very, very close. So thank you to each and every one of you one more time. And I just want to say, I remain your one and only host on the Speaker Show, Nini Olafatai. So thank you. And I will see you all again next week. And I want to say bye for now to each and every one of you. Bye now and have a great evening.